Welcome back to episode 3, The Reason Solutions. Here's the thing about life. Sometimes the deepest lessons don't come from politics, professors, textbooks. Sometimes they just come from classrooms, and sometimes they come from conversations. Think about a sitcom that really made you laugh. That was funny, and funny for your own reasons. Everybody has a different sense of humor. I know my sense of humor varies all over the place. So I will give you my top 5 comedy sitcoms. Now, again, my top 5, not your top 5, my top 5, because it's my point of view. And after you listen, and I give you my explanations on why they're my top 5, then comment, drop yours in the comments so we can see if we're that far apart or if you learn too much about me through these five TV shows that I always knew it was something special about Brother Mark. So here we go. My first one, in order, Veep. And the reason why I write Veep, because it's like political satire and I like politics with humor. And it shows how ambition and ego can shape government. Sanford and Son. And of course, Red Fox. Back then, he said some stuff on TV that you can't say now. Like calling his son a big dummy and saying he gonna put Esther face in some dough and make gorilla cookies. You definitely couldn't say that right now on TV. The Big Bang Theory. Now, The Big Bang Theory, because I love Sheldon. I like the entire cast, but I like Sheldon the best. And in my brief understanding, and especially for a person that's been in education for over 25 years, it gave me the most simplistic understanding, basic understanding of autism spectrum disorder that helped me better understand me, my children, the students I teach. And it made me more open to understanding why some people react to some things that I thought would be just easy to respond to. Abbott Elementary, it gives me a chance to just laugh, relax about the profession that I love. Because it's not realistic. There's no way in the world that they're always on break in the teacher's lounge at the same time. And they could just walk in each other's classroom while they're teaching and start asking questions about stuff. But it's funny and it's light. And we do have moments in schools that are similar, but it's funny. So I enjoy laughing at my profession. And of course, number 1, Martin. Come on now. Martin Lawrence. Enough said. Nothing else needs to be said. Now, you may have a different point of view. You may have different top 5. Remember, this is a judgment-free zone unless you leave Martin off the list. Then we might need to have a follow-up conversation. So drop your 5 and let's have fun with it. So if you made it this far through my silliness, first I want to thank you for joining me on this pod, on this journey. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. That's the only way these conversations can continue. And I appreciate your consideration in doing those 3 things. Point of view number 2. We talked about politics before. And segueing from TV to politics, it's a seamless transition because, these real life situations that we see on TV, similar to the same things that happen in politics. Because the truth is, what we call politics is often just life showing up with a different name tag. And what do I mean by life showing up as a different name tag? I don't want to lose you. Stick with me for a minute. Politics isn't really politics the way we usually think about it. It's sometimes closer to everyday survival, everyday choices, everyday frustrations. When you go to the grocery store and you spend $50, but don't feel like you got $50 worth of goods, that's politics. When you're driving to work and you had to fill up your tank and $20 don't even get you halfway full, that's politics. When you walk into a school and you can instantly feel the difference between a building that's fully resourced and one that It's just one is just making it work with less than it should. It's the conversations you have at the barbershop and the hair salon about why everything keeps going up, but my paycheck is not going up. It's staying the same place. It's the dinner table where you're looking at how we're going to get our kids into a summer camp, or are we going to be able to afford to go on a vacation? Or just, is this school good for my kid, or do I have to transfer my kid to another school? Or do I have to move from this neighborhood because nothing in this neighborhood is not a safe neighborhood, or there's no one in this neighborhood for my kids to play. They don't have a good playground to play at. All those things are politics. Because when you start seeing it that way, you realize politics isn't far away from us. It's already in the middle of everyday lives. Let's reason together. What's one everyday moment in your life, like groceries, schools, or your commute, that makes you feel like politics is already right in the middle of what I'm doing every day? Drop it in the comments so we can learn and grow together. One of you three. This one is, all of my topics are important to me. This one is a little bit more personal to me because I had a book published in 2017. It was called The New 2%. It's 2026 now. So when it was published in 2017, me as being an African-American male teacher, I was the 2%. I'm roughly around the 1.7% now. So it was called The New 2%, My Life in the Classroom. It was dedicated to my mom, who I miss daily. Just such a nurturing, wonderful woman. My wife, whose brilliance has always pushed me from day one to be a better person, to be more intellectually curious. And my sons, my two sons, who are my why. They're definitely my why. And the reason why it was astonishing for me to write a book is because in second grade, I was in special education. So I had this slur. Well, speech impediment would be the way it's described more technically now. And it wasn't that I had a thinking problem or a thinking issue. It was just that I spoke differently than everyone else. And it was so embarrassing that being in those classrooms, it pushed me to be out of that classroom. And also my second grade teacher, who I had a crush on, Miss Ballard. But that's another book. And I say all that to say, this is a young Black boy growing up in the projects of North Philadelphia with a speech impediment. And I'm blessed to be able to say now I've published a book. I've gone to school and got 2 master's degrees. And I say that not to brag about me, but that's the same energy I bring into the classroom. Then if I can do it, anybody can do it. We just have to work harder at some issues and work with passion. And we have to show patience and grace as teachers, as professionals, to help our scholars connect. Because when they have success in one area, that can bleed over to other areas. They have success in science, that can bleed over to math, and that can bleed over to reading. They have success in reading, that bleeds over to other subjects. They have success in physical education, art. All those subjects bleed over to each other because it's just the success, the confidence that they get from it that helps them try the other ones. They have more resilience. Table of contents. First chapter, how I got here. I got there because on WDAS, there was this commercial that would come on every day when I was in the car. It seemed like saying, the school district needs African-American male teachers. The school district. I was like, yes, they do. I wish somebody would go down there and become a teacher. I'm tired of these men. But then one time I realized it was me. And then a mentor of mine made me go down to help this lady open up a school building. A year later, I'm down there applying for a position at that school building. And because I had that connection, because I listened to my mentor also, even though he made me get up out of bed since I was working overnight and still had to be down there at 7 o'clock in the morning. Here I am, 25 plus years later. Chapter 2, advice from a maniac. I am a maniac. My wife always lets me know that. I went into a profession I had no idea what the profession entailed. I went in there anyway. Chapter 3, maternity leave. Hold on. Before we say it, what does this guy know about maternity leave? Well, I never had maternity leave. But the way I got this position at the school was this lady was going on maternity leave. And I was the new 8th grade reading teacher, 2nd grade class, chapter 5, teacher's aide. I was supporting another teacher. Chapter 6, looping part 1. Oh, it's the greatest experience ever when you teach a group and then you get a chance to teach them again the next year, because you can jump right in and have really educational growth for all the kids, because you know them already. You have to know new names, new parents. They understand your expectations. Looping is the best. Parents, how to help guide for your children and teacher success. In this book, outside of just some of the stories that I wrote about what I experienced in the classroom from an African-American male perspective, because before this book, I really didn't see a lot of books on education written by Black men. There was one book written about why I chose to stay from a principal at Vaux in North Philadelphia that really inspired me to consider writing my own book. So I wrote some help guides, I call them survival kits for how to help your child and how to help your child succeed in class, but also how to support your child's teacher. In episode 5, I'll go in a little bit more detail about some of my anecdotes, some of my prescriptions for how to support your child in school and your child's teacher. Chapter 7, looping part 2. So I don't really got a chance to do it one time. I did it the second time. I looped. And like I said, looping is so much fun. And these became my students that I taught for many years after that. Even some of them worked at my summer camps. A lot of them are all doing great things, becoming lawyers, doctors, running their own businesses, teaching. I end with my life in the classroom. So that's my book. This book was really personal for me because a lot of times I was writing it on the back of a bus as I'm taking these kids. I remember the last time we were going to New York for a class trip, and I'm sitting on the back of the bus saying, I'm never doing this again. And of course, you know how teachers are. We're always doing it again. So a lot of them are stories, true stories about situations that happen in the classroom. No names are mentioned. So thank you very much if you made it this far. I really need you to like, share, subscribe, tell somebody about the pod. I released the first 3 episodes so you can binge and see where I'm going and where we're going with this pod. Peace.